This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
A very good evening. We want to thank God for we are here today. It's a pleasure having you and knowing that you are watching. Yeah, the fact that you are alive, the fact that you can hear this voice, the fact that you can see this image. Yeah, that's reason enough to say thank you, Lord, for today. No matter what failed, no matter what you've gone through, as long as you're still alive, there is still hope that you'll accomplish a lot tomorrow. Here we are with our Thursday edition of the Family Hour. Wdrine Mukalazi is my name. First day, being a Thursday, we talk about leadership and governance. And today, we are having a continuation of something we talked about last time. It would have been unfair completing and covering up this topic without someone sharing through her insights on this topic. So we talked about motivation last week, and we want to continue from there. With us, of course, it's a full board. Dr. Patricia is here with us after some long time. Doctor, it's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much, Edwin, and good evening, viewers. It's a blessing to be here to discuss touchy topics like the power of motivation as we enrich the lives of the people out there, because we know leaders need to motivate their teams. And for me, I'm very happy to be back here and to meet my sister Diana also, who we are going to be engaging with.
The way you started in a very cool way.
It's very calm. It's not like her at all. You would think something is happening.
There's a fundamental change. Patricia is changing.
Oh my God. I think it's the launch of the book. Ever since she launched the book.
On the touch.
On humility.
Yes.
So
Humility.
I hope we're going to get
talk.
copies of this book signed by the author. We are expecting copies.
Anxiously waiting.
Then it's a pleasure having you this
It's
evening.
always good to be here. Good evening, viewers. It's a pleasure to be here. It's good to see you, Dr. Patricia. You now have Mama's cut, as you can see. So I think there's been a bit of inspiration.
These are the changes
between launching a book. Now you can call yourself an author.
The latest author in town.
No, not the latest.
So maybe we start from there. Tell us what it means and how it feels
To launch a book.
Yeah, to launch a book.
Yeah.
To successfully launch this
Well,
book.
I developed goose pimples because this is something I started as a joke. I thought, well, I think if people are doing, why don't I also try? And I thought, well, people have been asking me to share my testimonies wherever I go. And this was an opportunity to unpack my testimony, growing up as a child, and significantly looking at the touch of humility. That's why today I'm presenting myself with this humility I wrote about, because I've got to walk the talk.
We pray that it is maintained to the end of the show. But we are talking about motivation, and perhaps now that we started from there, we started from the book launch, and you had forces that motivated you to write up to the time you launched it, and now you're the latest author we know around town.
Yes.
A 21st century author.
Yes. Of an autobiography. It's not an academic book.
Autobiography is too early for you. Too early.
No.
Autobiography. You have at least
We will not go into this
30 more years.
No,
We will not go into this age
she'll produce the
An
books in
updated
volumes.
copy.
Yes.
Oh my
So
God.
But
this
you
is
know,
volume
you
one.
touch the lives of people differently. And if you can share that story and touch and transform lives, the earlier you do it, the better. Because the Bible says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling.
But wine,
so Diana, if you put in the trembling beat,
wine
you would
is
go
at
and
its
start
best.
writing now.
Wine is at its best when it has taken time, and so the wine needs to mature for you to present. But no, congratulations on writing a book.
Thank you very much.
I am expecting a signed copy from you.
Thank you very much. And that is where we should have started from. not challenging the author. Not challenging the author.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
But here we are. We've started from there.
Yes.
Power of motivation, and we start from what pushes or what should be the factors that. Because we shall not get into now defining motivation, because last time Diana gave us quite a number of definitions, and some were sophisticated, some were a little user-friendly.
I just hope Diana was not confusing my viewers out.
Now that you're
With
not
her
sure,
English.
now that you're not sure, please start from there.
Okay, for me, I think the job of we leaders is to basically be able to extract results from the people.
Okay.
We need to get extraordinary results from the people that we are leading. And the people we are leading are ordinary people. So how do we get the ordinary person to produce results? It's through motivating that person. So as leaders, our most tangible assets are the human beings we are working with, because we depend on their results. When we give them instructions, they go and implement those instructions and bring the results. So in order to get these results out, these people need to feel loved, they need to feel wanted, they need to be valued, they need to be appreciated, even for the little things they do in order to contribute to this work. Because studies world over now shows that an average person works just 50% of their potential these days. That means that half of the working time is spent on idle time, on socializing, on emailing, on WhatsApp and Twitter and other social media avenues. So people are not normally deployed directly to contribute fully, but there are things leaders can do in order to bring out that potential and help them produce results. So how can we make the people we are working with as leaders maximize their potential? It is our responsibility as leaders to ensure that employees are motivated, they feel wanted, they feel needed, they feel valued, and that is when they will enjoy their work and produce results. So when we talk about motivation, we are basically looking at how we can inspire others. We must first of all be inspired and happy about what we are doing before we can make some other person happy about what they are supposed to do. We must have a value system in ourselves as leaders so that we are able to move or change or touch the lives of the others who are below us. And you cannot give by what you do not have. So you need to have it in order to give it. So for me, I think that is what we need to encourage high performance. And there are factors, like you asked, factors that encourage this high performance among their people. A number of ways to build a team and fire it up to produce to its peak. You need, first of all, to have competencies. You need to have people who are already motivated or inspired. And then, first of all, you have to choose a team. Unfortunately for us, some of us, you just find yourself appointed and put in this organization, and you learn how to work with the people whom you have found. But if you have an opportunity to choose a team, it's important to also note that 95% of your success as a leader will come from the team, because you'll have chosen people who you know have the skills and competencies to deliver exactly the way you want them to do. So you can't build a peak performance unless you have a peak team in order to get your peak performance. So the existence of one negative person can undermine the morale and the spirit of the entire team. That's why for us in Acholi, we say Ogwalachel Balowang Pi, one frog can mess up the water. So if there is one bad person or one person who has queer behaviors in the team, that person has ability to demobilize that team. Then clarity. I think clarity is very, very essential here as well, because each team member must know exactly what he or she is expected to do. And he must also know what other people are doing to contribute to the success of the organization or the institution or company. So it is very important that each person knows what each other is doing, and they get to work together for the common good to build and make this institution a successful institution. Then it's also important, and I know you probably could have touched on this previously, it's important to get together frequently. A leader must communicate, a leader must encourage open communication and have regular meetings with the teams. And especially for top leaders, they are supposed to continuously connect with the people in order to share ideas, in order to get to know what it is they're doing, in order to know the projected activities, and learn about the activity businesses and the indicators of their successes. And that is the only way we can be able to say we are measuring progress and this is how we are performing. Leaders must spend time interacting with the team members, not only in meetings, but even sharing a cup of tea or light moments and getting to know the people we work with better. Because when we do this, then the people will begin to trust and believe in the leader. The people will get to follow the vision of the leader. The people will align themselves to what it is the leader wants to be done. And then we need to help people to identify the key things, the priority top things that would make them come out and as high performers. And this basically would represent 90% of their contribution to the team. When you get to know what is your top notch, what are the areas you prioritize, what is it from the mandate of the institution that will bring the institution to a certain level. So as a leader, it's important for us to help people to be able to concentrate on their high tasks. And when they concentrate on high tasks, then you also combine it with additional training. Can you make them better people by exposing them to training or refresher opportunities? Because there is nothing more motivating and inspiring than being engaged in challenging tasks or interesting work that makes a difference. Sometimes you get yourself doing the same things continuously, which gets monotonous. But as a leader, in order to motivate your team, you can think about new innovations to make this work a little more interesting. And then a sense of accomplishment sometimes is the greatest single source of a self-confidence and self-esteem in a person. Do you get to build this self-confidence in these people? Can you give them opportunity to also act or represent their supervisors in engagements or functions? So sometimes it's just about making people feel better, or making people feel good about themselves, or making them feel important. So when you inspire people by building this self-confidence and making them feel good about themselves, then you raise the self-esteem among the people, and they will be able to serve the organizations or institutions better, because you make them feel important, both as individuals and also as team members, just by appreciating or saying nice things to them. There are some keys we can use to help people feel important or motivated or inspired to give their best. But perhaps I'll stop here for a while, and then we can go on with the conversation. Thank you.
You know, when you quoted the proverb in Acholi, I saw Diana a little shocked.
That Ogwalachel Balowangpi. Just
Sure,
one
a little
frog.
shocked.
One frog can spoil the water. One person can mess up the image of an institution.
You see, the thing is that a frog's natural habitat is water, a swamp. So how does the frog mess up the water? Because that is natural
Oh, it
habitat.
can steer the mud and soil to come up, and the water gets dirty.
Okay. Interesting.
So then, talking about motivation now, because last time we talked about the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, but how does motivation impact, especially someone's life individually? How does motivation impact me to push me be active in even other spheres?
That's an interesting question. One, I think that its impact is that it boosts your morale. And everybody wants to feel good at the end of the day. You know, that's why people do drugs. They look for a good feeling, the feel-good feeling. the ability to just enjoy the atmosphere. Because everybody in ourselves, each of us is looking to feel good about something. And so we're always looking for that, for lack of a better word, that height. And so that's why people go into drinking. That's why people go into drugs. That's why people go into a drug, something that will give you that good feeling. Motivation can have the same aspect if you give it time, that it will allow you to feel good about what you are doing. It boosts your morale. When someone's morale is high, they're able to get more results out of what they're doing because they think nicely about it, they enjoy what they're doing, they are happy about what they're doing, they're excited about it. And in the resultant effect is that it gives efficiency to whatever you are doing. The boss gets as well as you are getting from it. The leader benefits from it. You benefit from it because the result of having a good morale is that there will be efficiency in how I do my work. Picture it this way. If I am very motivated, I'm going to come to work early. I'm going to give you a majority of my time. I am going to pour myself into what I am doing until you get the best out of me. And that's the beauty about having motivation. Because if it can work on the psyche of somebody, it can enable the person then give the best of themselves. And in turn, the result will be efficiency. The other personal benefit of having motivation is that it also enables you to become a high performer. Everybody wants to be a high performer in everything that they do. And that's why with the idea that there is extrinsic motivation by giving rewards for what you are doing, people are going to push themselves to become high performers. They're going to excel at what they're doing because there's a carrot dangling at the head. The carrot could be, and we have said this many times, the carrot could be travel, it could be exposure, it could be a bonus system, it could be a land title, it could be promotion, because all of us are looking to get ahead in life. And because we are looking to get ahead in life, we know that that reward system will push me to become efficient, but also become a high performer. At the end of the day, I will be very excited to see my picture up there as one of the highest performers. If we go into a performance evaluation and you're seated among your bosses, one of the best things you ever want to hear is that you're a very good performer, is that you excel, that's that you're above the team. Because when you have that on your record, there is a chip on your shoulder that doesn't go away. And so you walk around like you were the best thing that happened to the soil. You walk around as if something is different about you. That high performance comes from an extrinsic motivation, and it causes you to be a different person. And I think lastly, what it does for you as a person individually is that it pushes you to go ahead in life. All of us want to be moving ahead in life. We want to be able to move from one place and to make impact in life. Someone who's highly motivated will be a very impactful person because they are looking for the highest impact. A good performer is looking for the highest impact. A top performer is looking for the highest impact. And so you will look, if everybody has that mindset, imagine what our country would be. Imagine what an institution would be, because we are thinking, how can we make this place better? And so one thing motivation will do is that in and of itself, it will drive to good impact. It will drive to great impact. And that works for us because we sleep better when we know we are impacting. The question about legacy that people keep asking, and I'm sure all of us have asked it before, what do you want your legacy to be? Yeah. And my legacy is left in people. It's not left in a building. My legacy is left in the things that I have done to impact the next generation. I have done to impact the children around me. I have done to impact the people I have worked with. If we all approach life in such a way where we think that every place that God puts us in is a place of stewardship, we will look for impact in all that we do. And that comes from a place of being motivated. And so it answers the question of legacy many times, that I have left my legacy because I impacted the people that were around me.
Okay. Before, are there any misconceptions associated with motivation?
There will always be misconceptions. Last week we talked about my boss, who always said, who spoke about the clerk as self-motivated. And I said, while I agreed with my boss that self-motivation can happen, rarely do people stir themselves up and move. There always has to be, there's an intrinsic factor which has to do with your value system. But a lot of it is extrinsic that comes. And if it's not extrinsic, it's also your family values. And so one of the misconceptions you'll have about motivation is that it's dependent on you to motivate yourself. Because we as human beings have a level to which we can run and get tired. We as human beings, our lives are affected by the people that we surround ourselves with, by the circumstances that we find ourselves in, and by many other things that cause us. Perhaps it's religion, our value system, our faith system. Those things affect us. We don't live in a bubble to say that you can't touch me. When I was growing up, I watched a film where a parent didn't want their child to be put in different places, and so one thing that they did is put them in a bubble. So they grew up in a bubble, and they kept telling them that they had an autoimmune disease, but the child was okay. They just never wanted the child to fall down to do all these things. What happened is that they did not develop an immune system. They did not develop the things that would enable them survive in the world. It's the same complication that you will have in life. That self-motivation doesn't just happen. You are affected by everything that's around you. You are affected by family. You are affected by circumstances that it may be a loss of parents. It may be a loss of a spouse. You are affected by these things. And so the idea that you can do it on your own is a lie. And I think it also goes in life with that saying that I can do life all by myself. Nobody can do life all by themselves. Each of us needs somebody, because you're not the summation of everything in life. The same way I need God, and despite also just needing God, He created me and put me in community. He put me in a family, so I need family. I need community. So that general idea that I can do everything by myself is, for me, a myth that cannot work. And I think lastly, in that same respect, is the idea that motivation is only extrinsic, that only a reward can move people. There are many other things that are involved when it comes to motivation, and we have spoken about it. Family will always be a big factor when it comes to motivation, because family talks about culture. Family talks about the different things that affect you. My family system is in such a way that I grew up in a certain place. I grew up in a place where I had perhaps a silver spoon in my mouth. And because I had a silver spoon in my mouth, I was able to go to better schools. I was able to go to better places. So I had a step ahead of everybody else. Different from somebody who has experienced loss in such a way that maybe they lost parents at an earlier age, and so they never went to school. That shapes you as a person, and so you sort of have a leg back, compared to most people, and so to say that it's only the extrinsic things that affect you, not necessarily. There are things that also are involved in motivation that would affect you as a human being.
Okay. Wow, Doctor.
Yes.
You seem to have more ideas on the misconceptions of motivation.
Well, me was just here being excited about the other carrot of the title. Someone surely gives me a carrot of a land title. I think I would put my whole heart and energies to contributing. But also the silver spoon aspect. Children who are not exposed to some of what happens on the other side sometimes are spoiled, because if you make them get exposed to the other taste of the hardship, or growing up in the village or having the village experience, then they are grounded in their future, because they know what is happening on both sides, in the village and in the city or wherever. Even the kind of schools we then choose will come into play. For me, I'm one person who experienced the exchange of my pencils, length of a pencil for a length of roasted cassava, because the day scholars brought properly roasted cassava, and we enjoyed that cassava. So we got tempted to begin exchanging our pencils for for some cassava. But for me, I know that as leaders, it's important also to make people, when we talk about this motivation, to make people feel important, to make people feel wanted, to make people feel needed. And there are certain steps we can do to help people feel that they are valued by the institutions. One is by accepting them as they are. How do you accept somebody? Because, you know, a human being always needs to be accepted unconditionally. It can be by expression of a smile. Like when I walk in here and Diana smiles, I'm like, well, my sister is happy, I feel accepted, I feel welcomed. So the person is able...
about fake smiles.
Yes, the person is able to feel welcome, the person is able to feel important because they have been accepted. So you can learn to express this acceptance with this smile I'm talking about, or you can raise their self-esteem, increase their self-esteem and make them feel valued and important. Then other than acceptance, a person needs to be appreciated also. People do a lot of work, people make lots of sacrifices. Some people get to office by 6 a.m. and they are there working and you see their results. Simply say thank you. There are leaders out there who are criticizing hardworking people and calling them non-performers, who are pouring cold water on the hard work someone has put in. So whenever you thank others and express appreciation for anything they have done, they feel valued, they feel important. However small that contribution is, he or she will have contributed towards the good of that institution. They feel more motivated and inspired to repeat the good behavior, to repeat the good performance. They even work harder because they know that you will thank them for it. So just the word thank you is so powerful that you can change life and it can be used meaningfully. Then the other point is admiration. You admire the people. Everybody likes a compliment. Hey, Diana, you're very smart today. Oh, this coat looks good. This tie is amazing, and so on. So everyone likes a compliment. Whenever you admire people's clothes or possession of others, or even their homes or offices, they feel good about it. Anything they have achieved or accomplished, that contributes to their self-image. Basically, when you admire those, it significantly impacts also on their self-esteem, and they're able to feel motivated and produce good results. They like themselves more, they can feel more valuable, they can feel more important, and that can touch on their quality of work as well. Then the fourth one I would like to mention here is approval. If you want to make someone feel good, you approve him, and they say children basically would cry for this approval. If you don't approve things about them, if you don't praise them, and there are some ways within which you can help lift somebody's esteem and confidence in other people, especially when you approve the little things they do. Another definition of self-esteem is this self-worthiness. Is someone self-worthy? Whenever people feel worthy of praise by important people, they feel valued, they feel important, and they contribute also significantly to the output of the institution. It makes them feel good about looking forward to repeating the good things they've always done for the institution, or even going the extra mile to out of their way, and because they have been praised. So as a leader, it's important for us to always remain generous with our praise, with our approvals of our people we work with. Praise people for their accomplishments, for their attempts even towards various accomplishments. Like many a times we have meetings with the regional staff or with technical people within our organizations. We acknowledge the good works they have done, but there are bosses who just begin finding fault and complaining, even where credit is supposed to be given, they are complaining. So we need to praise people when they accomplish a task, even when they have accomplished part of the task, because remember, it's a journey and they're going to get there. And to make your praise more powerful, you can even make it more specific or immediate. Immediately someone has accomplished a task, you say, this is great. Like I had a team that accomplished the verification, the declaration exercise. They worked day and night tirelessly. I was so excited. We even cut a cake together in the boardroom. And that alone was serious motivation for my teams. praise people for a specific action rather than generally. As a leader, any praise coming from you has a multiplier effect. It has a very, very significant effect on the teams. So when you praise them, then they go back and double their effort.
Okay.
Then attention.
Doctor,
as I conclude.
Let us start from there shortly
Yes.
after the break.
Okay.
We do not want to go through attention because attention is another another thing. So let us start from there shortly after the commercial break. Stick with us.